Hey everyone, Charles here, and first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Jump Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Charles Matthews, and welcome to Jump. If this is your first time, Jump is all about finding those key people in the world that didn't hesitate, that took the chance in life and jump, and now they're doing things that are great. So my next guest is not really just a guest, he's also a friend, and I've been wanting to get him on the show for a while, and we finally got him here. So I'm honored to have him on the Jump. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Roger Dundas. Roger.
Yes, sir. I am live and in the building.
So people won't know what we went through just to get you on here. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you so much for having me today, Charles. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to be on the show for a long time, and here I am. So thank you.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you, Roger. I always like to have my guests know the background story of my guest. So tell me about you.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna start from current and then reverse, right? So right now, what I do and what people know me for is I am the publisher and co-founder of BuyBlacks.com, which is Canada's top-ranked #1 online magazine that focuses on Black Canadians. So that's what we do. We focus on Black Canadians all day, every day. I'm also the one of the partners and the managing director for Convo Media Inc., which is a public relations PR firm, which is also owned by 4 Black principals. So I believe we are the largest Black-owned PR firm in Canada right now that's just owned by Black people solely. So that's, but not to say on the PR side, we do a lot of work for different clients, but we are a Black-owned agency. So flipping back into history, I know that you had asked me once if I'm a Canadian, right? So I am a Canadian right now, but I was born in Jamaica, Canadian by way of Jamaica. Born in Jamaica, came to Canada in 2000, and I guess I've just been here like 19 years. Yeah.
Yes, and then since the time you were here, how did you get Buy Blacks? Like, it wasn't just something you came here and said, well, I'm going to design Buy Blacks. What were you doing when you first got here?
You know, so my background is accounting. A lot of people don't know that. I am a chartered accountant, started out my career from college at PricewaterhouseCoopers and kind of did that whole journey of, you know, slugging and putting in your hours and getting qualified and everything as a ACCA, which is the British Chartered Accountant. All right. So when I came to Canada, I actually started doing accounting jobs, well, internal audit, I would more say. So I worked with Compaq, which became Hewlett Packard, bought them out in 2001. So I was there through that transition period. when we were merging with HP. Left HP, went to work for a company called Robin Hood Multifoods or Multifoods Corporation. They own the Robin Hood flour brand, amongst other brands, Bix Pickles, etc. Fantastic company. They also got bought out by Smucker Foods of Canada, the jam jelly company. I was a senior auditor there, doing, trying to roll in. At that time, they had the Sarbanes-Oxley, SOX legislation coming in, so we're trying to make sure that everything was prepared for that company. And then I think in 2006, I love to tell the story because it's crazy how things trigger you to change your life. It's a very crazy thing that I was dating this girl who was working at a company, and she was in marketing, and I was in accounting in the finance department. And Christmas came around, and her department was going off to, I believe, Niagara Falls for 2 nights as a celebration of the year and everything. The finance department, we were going into the boardroom to have pizza and pop between 12 and 2 o'clock. I said, I'm in the wrong department. I am definitely in the wrong department, wrong career, everything. And I swear to you, from that day, I started looking at different opportunities that were sales related, actually. So at that time in 2006, I looked at being a realtor. I even signed up, paid the money to do the exam, didn't do the exam because I couldn't see myself. I have friends who are realtors, and I can't drive around. I don't like driving that much. So to be driving around and showing people's properties, that wasn't my thing, right? I looked at being a mortgage broker, and again, with that, you'd have to do more studying and get qualified and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh God, I'd have the time to go back now and to study for that, right? And then there's a third one that I also looked at was being a financial advisor as well. And again, I'm like, oh, you know what? The process of becoming, doing these careers was so onerous. I think at that time, I'd already studied so much to become a chartered accountant. I'm like, I don't want to do that much studying and, and all of that and prep and all that. So I said no. And then the fourth thing, which I ended up doing, was recruiting. So I left Smuckers, which was, in my opinion, the best company I'd ever worked for. Great company to where they treated me very well. In general, I believe they treated their staff very well. They gave us all the benefits and everything. I left that to go and work for a recruiting firm and, made some good money. The market turned down in 2008. The, opportunities started drying up. They started consolidating. And eventually I got let go in 2010. So at that point, though, the experience at that recruiting firm was so bad that I said I didn't want to work corporate anymore. So that was my thing. In 2010, I said, no more corporate jobs. I'm going to start my own company. By then, I had been doing, so in 2006, too, when I made that leap into marketing sales, I also started producing events. So I'd produce dance productions. I brought up people from Jamaica, did productions at Betty Elephant, Harbourfront, Toronto Centre for the Arts, that type of, really good quality. In my opinion, I thought it was good quality productions that were culturally specific, right? So we did a lot of plays, dance. I dabbled a bit into comedy, working with your good friend Jay Martin, and also did some poetry shows as well. So I did the full spectrum: dance, theater, poetry, and comedy. I did almost everything. I didn't do visual art. That's the only thing I didn't do. So I'd gained somewhat of an experience, some quick experience, some tough lessons, made mistakes, learned from those mistakes, and people started approaching me now to help them to market their events. So that's the actual genesis of 404 Media Group, which is the PR company that we started. 404 was the number on the door of the apartment that we lived in. So we had started that business. My wife, Camille, we started that business. She, with her brilliant journalism self and, brilliant writing, and me with the ability to know and understand how to market different events. That's how we combined and started that company.
So then, what at the time you were doing it, weren't you hesitant to do it? Like, I know a lot of people are always saying, when you dive into something new, there's always feedback from other friends and family, like, oh, why are you doing that? Why didn't you stay with your 9 to 5? You're making good money. Why would you go on your own?
I definitely got that. It was interesting too that there was a media house representative, and I did a lot of business with them. And so when I was working at the recruiting firm, I wore a suit every day. So I'd show up to their office in a suit. When I stopped working at the recruiting firm, I stopped wearing suits. And I know I'm just casual. And she's like, whoa, she didn't view me as being as successful as I was when I was wearing a suit. So that was a very interesting observation that I made. And, that's just how, they say sometimes clothes makes a man,
Right.
So some people rely on that, but I don't really look at those things, to be honest with you. I actually just dived into it because I felt in my heart that that's what I was supposed to do. My father was also an entrepreneur. He ran his own air conditioning company for 40-something years. He was working with a, big corporate, organization, left that and went out to start his own thing, started small and ended up being a big fish, right? So I always think that if you can put a certain level of professionalism and focus into your business and give good customer service, you should be able to do well.
So let's start with the first business. Who was your first client, and where did you find that you did the right thing, and where did you do the wrong thing? Because I always tell everybody, you have to learn from your mistakes. So before you got to where you are now, where did you learn, and what was your first mistake?
So here's an interesting story about actually the starting, right? And the day I got, so let me start with the beginning of it. And the day I got let go was May 18th, 2000, right? And 2010, sorry. And it was a Monday. And I remember, not unlike most people, when I worked for an organization, my desk didn't have anything personal on it. So when I was ready, when they let me go, I literally
you're gone.
Yeah, I picked up my car keys and my notepad, and I was through the door. I didn't have to pack a box.
Okay.
Right. So that was my mentality. I understood that it was business and there was nothing personal about it. Right. So, but then, so I got let go, and then I got 2 important calls that day. All right. One was from Trey Anthony. Trey had called me because we were kind of there was a group of us that were producing events, and we were trying to push more events to Toronto Centre for the Arts. So there's even an article in Toronto Star about it, and they'd written about how we were trying to reinvigorate the Black cultural arts in Toronto. That group disbanded, but notwithstanding, I had done an event at Toronto Centre for the Arts in March that year. This was now May. Trey had done an event, and she had called me to ask me to help her to navigate, getting her money from the venue. And then I told her that I'd gotten let go, and she said, Roger, sometimes that's just it's almost like it's a divine thing. It's like, that's maybe the best thing that ever happened to you, right? So that was Trey's conversation. And then later in the day, Roma Spencer, who's also a theater director, brilliant theater director, actor, director, she called me and asked me, she said, hey, I saw what you just did for that production in March. I have something coming up, and I'd love you to replicate that campaign. It was so good. I mean, everybody knew about the event. That's one thing I can say. And she said, I would love you to replicate what you did for that production. So that was kind of the kind of the push that I needed on the first day to say, okay, all right. I think you're headed in the right direction.
Maybe I got something here. Maybe I have something here. It's working. Yes.
Maybe, yes. Maybe I might. Yeah, I might have something there. So, I mean, we made some mistakes. I think that we, based on what I know now, and I mean, things have changed. There's much more, I would say, digital stuff happening right now. But back then, the first client that we had was, I believe, Tamla Matthews. And we took on her, promoting her fantastic production called Awakening. I've asked her many times, and Tamla, if you hear this, I've asked you many times to redo that production. It was so beautiful. And the thing is, I think when she was nervous, it is, you're pushing out your stuff and the tickets aren't selling. You start getting concerned, and she was doing there's a guy that was doing marketing for her and it wasn't going well. It's funnily enough, it was very digital focused what he was doing, but what she needed was to get to the community, to the Black community, to the grassroots, to get people to come and see her. And that's what we did, and I think it was almost sold out. So that was my first success, and then from there we got a plethora of clients: dance clients, arts clients, entertainment clients, festivals, etc., etc. Just it mushroomed to what is known today now as Convo, because we separated. We said, Camille and I can only do so much, and we needed more people to be involved in the company for it to, for A, to take on bigger clients, to service bigger clients, and B, to bring in different thought processes. So, if you think you know everything, you're an idiot. Right? So the one thing I know is that I don't know everything, right?
Right.
So
and you have to learn, and you can always learn more and process more.
And I know that I am a student of life, and I apologize for my machine popping up every now and then. Yeah, so I'm a student of life. That's what I call myself. I'm continually learning about things, and I would say that I study almost every day.
Okay. So then what was the need? Like when we see it now, what did you find that the need was? It wasn't so much about just getting the advertising out there. It's what was the need? Is there a need for people to know the business properly? Was there a need for marketing properly? What was the need for our community and our businesses?
And it's not just our community. I think it's cultural promotion. I think that's like cultural arts, and not specific to Black or any race or anything like that. But it's a very unique the publicity of it. A lot of people focus on just hey, this event is this day and this time, and come on out because we have this, that. People don't really connect the things that way all the time, right? So a lot of people are more connected to exactly what you're doing with me right now, to talk to me about my story, and then they say, I never knew that you went through all of that, and then you get more into the emotional side of things, where you say, oh, you know what, that singer, she struggled with this, I really love her music, it speaks to me, I'm going to go support her or buy her music. That's kind of, even when you look at super successful people like Beyonce, her story is fascinating, as is Jay-Z's, even Kanye West, everybody has a story. You push that story out first of you, and then you sell. So that's the thing that I found, that a lot of people weren't selling their story enough, and they weren't able to get good publicity because they weren't willing to talk about their life and their story. And so, we I think, and that kind of ties in with Convo Media, and our tagline is stories that matter. That's our tagline.
So hold on. So let me do this then, because if I don't ask you this question, my followers will be so upset. They're like, Chuck, you have Buy Blacks. You have Buy Blacks on the line. He knows business. He talks to different business people. So we're going to take a quick break. But before we go, here's the question that I want you to answer after the break. what is the one thing that you see that us in the Caribbean realm and the business people that we don't do properly that hinder our business?
That's an easy one.
There's one thing that we do and that we're not doing, maybe we're not doing more of or less of, or we're not doing it properly. After the break, let us know. We'll be right back. We're listening to and talking to Mr. Roger Dundas from Buy Blacks. We'll be right back. Hey, before we go on into my show, I just want to thank a big sponsor, Alitude. Alitude have jumped on board with me to make my shows sound great. It's real easy. With Alitude, I can edit my shows, put in commercials, sound bites, and even split my shows up to sound better. Now, Alitude is a one-stop program to make editing simple. And what they've done for me is given me a code that I can give to you, my listeners, and other podcasters. Go to Alitude, put in the code name JUMP, that's JUMP, and use Alitude for the discount. If it can make me sound better, it can definitely make you sound better. Brought to you by Alitude.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Okay, so we're back with my good friend, Mr. Roger Dundas. And just before the break, I asked him, what's the key thing? I know everybody goes into business, and sometimes we wonder why our business is not striving or we're doing something wrong. And I know he deals with a lot of businesses, so I wanted to ask him, for my fans, what is the one thing that he feels that we don't do more of or properly? Roger, what is it?
Simple. We do not support each other enough. It's a very, very, very simple answer. And it's crazy. I was just watching this video about this lady, Maggie Anderson, who is from the States. And she did, for 1 year, she bought everything from Black-owned businesses. Everything. Mortgages, gas, food, clothing, hair supplies, anything she needed, doctor, dentist, everything was from the Black community. And so that's kind of, to me, the number one thing. And a lot of people are not really realizing that that's the thing that's affecting them. And, I understand we're 3% of the population and you have to sell to the 97% as well to make money. I get that. But it's not what the income that you're earning. It's what you're doing with the money that you're spending, right?
So it's not so much about the income; it's about the recyclation. So if I could recycle my money back into our community, that person uses it, and then he recycles it. That money just keeps growing into our community.
She said a couple. I don't want to just mention these three things that she said that fascinated me. Actually, there's four things, but let me start with it. The first thing is that when Martin Luther King was in his heyday, and he spoke a lot about Black economics. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people just know him as Black civil rights. So we focus on, we want equality and blah blah blah. But at that time, we had the highest number of successful Black-owned businesses because, of course, they forced us to only buy from each other. So it was actually a catch-22, right? Because you couldn't go into certain white spaces, right? So you actually supported. So there were more grocery stores, more banks, more market, everything. There was more of everything then than today. Number one, right? So it's almost as if when Martin Luther King died, the economic dream died. So, over the next 20 years.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Into the 80s, from the 60s to the 80s, we went into a downward spiral, right? That was one. The next thing is that Asians, they have 22 to 24%, 20 days, not percent, 22 to 24 days before the money leaves the community. And Jewish people also have, I think it was 19 to 20 days before the money leaves the community. They have an alarming low rate of people in the prison system incarcerated. So there's a direct correlation between economics and poverty going to prison, right? So let's come right back to the black situation. So the problem that we're seeing, 10% of us are in the represent the prison system, 3% population, right? The problem is young people, black people, sometimes don't see any other way out but crime, right? Because the support for the businesses, there's so many black-owned businesses that have started and failed, right? You would look at them and say, oh, they didn't market enough. No, they didn't do this, they didn't that. No, the truth is, we didn't support them enough, right?
And they can't. And then let me just interject one thing. And they can't market without funding. So if we don't support 100%. Them, they don't have money to market more, to find out more, to push their product out more. They always say, like you say, oh, I didn't know about them. Well, because I put all my money out into marketing and then no one came to support me, so the business failed.
And you know what? You know, some people say, oh, you know, especially in the West Indian, you know, you and I are Jamaican, right? So yes. People say, oh, you go to the Jamaican restaurant and them have attitude and, oh, not on the menu and this and that, right? That's what they say. Me personally, I don't really experience that, to be honest with you. So, you know, every now and then there might be a little bit of a cultural exchange, but I don't really see it as disrespectful. Why I say as disrespectful, quite frankly, is a lot of times you go to an Asian restaurant and they're very curt and they're not really providing good customer service, but people keep buying Chinese food. Why is that? No, I'm just saying. These are facts.
Sorry, I'm just sorry. I'm thinking about it. Is it because it's quick, fast, easy, get in, get out? Is
not providing, but the same thing. You go to. It's almost as if we paint our own people with a different brush, right? So we'll suffer the indignation from racist people treating us away, following us around stores. We're still going back to that store, you know. So we need to do a better job of buying black. That is this thing, and I can tell, you know, people can challenge me on it. I've actually tried to find almost everything, every provider that I work. So I mean, my dentist is black. My dentist is in Toronto. I live in Whitby. I just take it as I actually do it as what do you say? You know, he's a Jamaican guy and he's at Bathurst on Bloor. Dr. Pickersgill, let me shout him out. I've been seeing him from I came to Canada. Why would I go and change now? Yeah, there are 5 dentists within a 2-mile radius of my house, but none of them are black. But I'm going to take my money and give it to somebody else. So another community that's not doing anything for me, not supporting anything, that's going to sponsor any event that any of my peers in the community put on. I'm not going to do that.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you. Let me stick a pin on that part right there. There's something you just said that it rings true to me as well. So you said, why am I not going to support? And then why am I not going to go in and ask them for a sponsorship? See, that's the key thing too. You want them to sponsor your events, but in hindsight, you don't go to them and sponsor their business. So how could it overturn? In the long run, if you can't help them, they can't help you 100%. Back in the long run. So, I mean, I have a black naturopath, dentist, massage therapist, barber, of course. I try to go to the grocery store. You know, we have black-owned grocery stores nearby us. One in Oshawa, one in Ajax. But he doesn't carry everything, so we buy whatever it is that we can buy from them, right?
even if the price, and then, I may be in a different position from someone else who's on a budget on minimum wage. Okay, I get that. You may feel like, boy, I have to go to Walmart or Freshco or wherever, right, to buy it because that's where the cheapest price is. I get that. You have to do what you have to do. But I think sometimes a lot of us when you look at your disposable income. So after you pay for your car, your house, your kids, if you have kids, essentials, like your definite needs. When the needs are taken care of, and then you step back and you say, okay, I have this pot of money left. Where am I going to buy my food from, et cetera, clothes, blah, 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 blah. Where is it that you go with that money? And I would say if you even shift your buying pattern to take 10% of that money and spend in a Black-owned business, that alone will propel our economy. We need more than 10%.
Right.
We should be doing up to 80%, actually, to be truthful. But even 10%.
Right. No, and I hear you on that point, because sometimes, something's on sale and you're like, oh, this is really good sale. You know, you're going to go do it. But if you can put into your mind and go to once every week and go to a store and say, listen, I usually get it here, but I'm going to support and go over here and buy it, then it does
Here's
do a turnover.
Here's a phenomenon that I watch all the time too is the, you know what? Before I go any further deep into the buying black, so let me tell you how we started Buy Blacks. Sorry, I totally missed that. I know you didn't ask me yet, but I want to talk about that because it ties into everything that's happening. So what happened? We started this PR firm and we're working with a lot of clients, and we're working with a lot. Quite frankly, we were working with 80%, Black or visible minorities, whatever you want to call us, right? And what we were finding is that when we worked with the 20%, the non-visible minority clients, we had a different uptick
Right.
with the mainstream media, right? And I'm like, wow, this is it's so obvious. It's almost as if you had a Black singer and a white singer and they had the same background, the mainstream media would pick the white singer.
Okay.
Right? So we kind of decided from 2011, because we were seeing it so much. And I think at the time too, if you remember, there was Sway magazine.
Yes.
That Toronto Star did. And they were in some turmoil. And I kind of had an insight, and I realized that they were going to shut down. Right? So we started hatching this plan to do this. At first, it was just a directory site, right? Just a business directory.
Right.
Because again, Black Pages was also kind of going down. That was a Gleaner one.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
Right. So we started with the direction, and then I had some, I did 18 months of planning before starting Buy Blacks. 18 months of research before starting. And I spoke to different people, and they said one of the things that you have to do is you need content to change. You don't want it to be static. You need information to be always on there, new stuff, new things happening. And that's how we expanded it to be more editorial focused. The director became a secondary thing, and the events listing a third thing that we did. So that's how we started the research from 2011. And we finished the research in basically 2012, started to build the site. The guy who was working on the site ghosted on us in the middle of the project. Black guy. Ghosted, realized that we had to dump all of that we had done and restart. Yes. And we had to dump everything that he had done, restarted on a whole new same platform but different template and everything, and built it without him. Right? And then Sway died August 2012, which opened up that big opportunity. And we said, you know what? Sway was amazing. We're gonna use their playbook, right? On how they did their features and everything, and we're gonna focus on stuff like that they were doing. And we started February 17, 2013. That's it. So we have our 7-year anniversary next year. So we started out, and people just kept on giving us advice. People criticized us, and the criticism was the best thing that we could have received.
And I want, hold on. Say that part again, please.
The criticism was the best thing that we could have received because that helped us to fine tune, make things better. So anybody who's listening right now, if you see something on that site and you don't like it, or it doesn't work, or you click somewhere and you need to send it to us immediately. We love it. We love receiving the feedback because A, it means that somebody's actually reading it, and B,
yes,
they took the time to tell us that it was wrong rather than just say, it's wrong, I idiot site that. Let's leave it. So they, in my opinion, anybody who writes to us and criticizes us wants us to be better. A lot of people don't translate it that way, right? A lot of people, oh, how dare they say that? No. That's not what it is.
Yeah, because they see something that maybe 10 other people see.
Exactly.
And if they tell you now, they just help you improve your business, your site, your project.
100%. So we worked on Buy Blacks. We started out with, I believe, 5 writers, and we worked on getting. So we have the editorial side of it, which is really more about business profiles, reviews, opinion pieces, etc. And then we had a experts column, so where experts like accounting experts, real estate, fitness, travel, whatever, different Black professionals in Canada from all across Canada, not just from Ontario, right? All across Canada are contributing and giving their advice. The experts columns could go in anywhere. It could go Toronto Star, Global. It could go anywhere because it's on par with what I've read in all the major magazines. It's fantastic information. More people need to pay attention to the experts because they give some really good advice on, especially legal advice. Tanya Walker. Accounting is GMS, Celia Meikle. And the real estate, Candice has been doing a great job with tips on how to deal with the real estate. And then on the financial advisor side is Ian Webster, financial fighter. That's what he calls himself. If we were to sit down, if the Black community was to sit down and read those 4 sections, you could keep yourself out of debt and out of trouble legally. Just those 4 sections: accounting, finance, legal, and real estate. Just those 4 sections, and then of course there's the naturopathic section. There's the I believe there's personal care, so like skin care and all that type of thing.
So it's a full site to sit down, read, and get full information.
I let me tell you something. I am so proud of the writers because they really deliver information that I read stuff. I read my own articles, not mine that I write, but what the writers write, and take advice from them. Excuse me. I take advice from them. We have a stylist now, Earl Rich, and we call him the style whisperer. I mean, he can just look at you and just say, hey, you know what? Tweak that, try that, don't wear that, change that color, you're good now. He's like that. He's that good. No, I'm telling you, he's that good. And he has been writing for us. He just started about 3 months now, I think, 3 to 4 months. So everything for food, nutrition, health, mental health, the whole shebang, parenting, we have tech, it's all there on Buy Blacks and written by Black professionals, Black Canadian professionals.
All right. So let's get into one thing that, we have to mention, because you did it last year and it changed a lot of people's lives. It changed my life, and it realized that what we have out there. You have an awards. Let's talk about the awards. Okay.
Yes.
And let's talk about that because, I have to big that up.
The People's Choice Awards.
Yes. And the thing about it is the key word is the People's Choice Award. That is correct. So I have to shout out there. I was one of the winners for the People's Choice Award 2018 event planner of the year. But the funny thing about it is I loved it so much more because the people voted.
That is correct. And you know what? Hold on. Can I just say to your listeners that Charles is an amazing event planner. He is thorough, professional, and on time. And that's why people voted for him. I've had many people talk about events and say, oh, Carl Charles. That's the first name that comes up, right? So I mean, it's deserved. So congratulations again.
Oh, I appreciate it. But the thing is, what people understand is when they were going online to vote, it actually opened up so many people's eyes about all the companies, all the businesses, all the people that are doing stuff out there that didn't even know about the people. And when you're clicking to go down the line to vote for people, you're like, oh, who's this person? Because even me, I went through all the categories, and then I Googled the people right afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's somebody that does this. Oh, they're doing great things too. Oh, this person is fantastic. And then even afterwards, I had the honor of interviewing some of the winners. Right. And these are great people.
That is it. And this is a thing that when we concocted this thing, I mean, I won't even lie. I mean, I saw these People's Choice Awards, Reader's Choice Awards. They're done by pretty much every newspaper, every major newspaper, every major, Toronto Star has one, Now Magazine has one. The what do you call those things? The city papers, so the Whitby this, that, the Brampton, whatever. They all have them, and the intent of them is to get people to be aware of businesses that exist within the communities, right? So it's the people nominated. So ours is very much the same as the other ones, where the people nominate people, businesses, professionals, right? We don't nominate any. As a matter of fact, last year I nominated one or two people in different categories. This year I'm not nominated anybody personally. So I'm definitely gonna just leave it 100% organic. So there's nothing coming from Camila, myself. Yes, some of the writers will nominate people, but we are not nominating anybody this year, right? So the people nominated people, and then based on the number of nominations, single nominations, then that person, whoever were the top 5, would move on to the voting phase, right? So when you get to the voting phase now, people can vote for you every day, once per day. So that's how it works, right? So the nominations is single nominations. So you can't nominate a person twice. You can only nominate them once, right? But you can vote for somebody more than once when they vote.
Okay. So the nominations is open right now.
Until the 30th.
And then it was. I love the way people did it. People actually. Okay, and people went and they took their time to do it, and that was amazing. That people are supporting each other and their business by going out 100%. To vote.
I mean, people are telling me, "Hey, I nominated this person, I nominated that person, I nominated this and this guy." I'm like, wow. And of course, for us, it's all about traffic too, right? So I mean, it's a win-win. We're delivering exposure for businesses, and people are actually generating more traffic and awareness too of buyblack.com, because not everybody knows the site, right? Again, I wouldn't assume that we're not the Toronto Star, right? We're not the National Post. We don't have that budget. But with the continued support of Black Canadians, we will one day get to that level, right? So I also have to talk about the fact that we increased the number of categories. Last year we had 50 categories, and this year we have 78. So,
wow.
So again, taking the feedback from our readers, a lot of readers, like last year, I think we had blogger as one category, and people are like, okay, hold on. There's podcaster, there's vlogger, there's blogger.
Yes, yeah.
There's YouTuber. Yeah. There's like 4 different types of people, right? So we have broken out.
So you have to break that right down.
And then, like even in the singer category, we had artists, but then there's gospel artists, there's reggae artists, there's soca artists, there's hip hop R&B. I mean, there's jazz. There's different. I don't think it's fair to have just kind of the one category, because a jazz artist has a different audience from a hip hop artist, completely different
Right.
audience. So there are certain things that we broke out. We got rid of one of the categories I know for sure, which was the major label artists. So that would be like the Drakes and the Weeknd and those people, because Drake and Daniel Caesar won. They didn't collect their award, right? And the thing is,
Yeah.
first of all, it's hard to get to them. I can get to them, but it's hard to get to them.
Yes.
They're like, whatever. So it didn't make sense to continue that, because I feel like, to be honest, Drake would probably win every year. As a major label artist. So what's the sense? What's the sense? It's not going to be. There's. Yeah.
So here's the thing. You've done such great work in the community. You're helping other people. My last question for you is, before I let you go, is when you leave this earth, what do you want your legacy to be?
Boy, what's funny. I have different views about the whole legacy thing, because, I want to. For me, though, in terms of legacy, and my kids and my grandkids that are not born yet and everything, I want to make sure that there is a financial legacy for them, so they are able to exist, financially, they're sound and everything. But more importantly, I think that we the Black people of Canada, we need to, the legacy that I'm trying to, instill is a legacy of unity and figuring out a way to work together and be better economically, physically, mentally, everything, healthy, and work together more. That was the first thing that we said. We don't support each other enough. So we have to figure out that way of how do we support each other enough. Why are we buying Kate Spade shoes when there's Ian Lee brand? Don't know. That's right. So these are simple things, simple shift. We need to make a shift. We need to respect our own stuff more before somebody else respects it, and then you turn around and then start respecting it after. Just respect it out the gate and support. So that my legacy is for my kids and their grand and everybody that comes out, to leave something that financially that can support and sustain them, and also to help the community.
All right. Well, Roger, I thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I really appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, the links will all be in the description. Please go out there, support. Go online, take a look, find that one store, find that one business, support. It will change the world. It will change us all. So, Roger, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today. Anytime, I'm always available.
All right. Thank you, Jump fans. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. If you liked the show or have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Join our mailing list, and as always, check out our special deals links below. I hope this has inspired you to look at your life and jump. See you next week.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.